They look at like dark spots on the sun. So you'd initially think, oh, maybe that's because there's less radiation given off. It turns out because of the magnetic fields going on in there, the sunspots actually emit more radiation. And so if there are fewer sunspots, we're receiving less sunlight from the sun. And so you would expect to see a continual decline in temperatures, that things might get colder over the next 10 or 15 years.
According to the New American, more and more scientists believe this lower solar cycle could spark a lengthy period of minimum solar activity, leading to cooler temperatures on Earth. It's happened before. From the mid-1600s to the early 1700s, the sun experienced a period of low solar activity known as the Maunder Minimum. It corresponded to a time on Earth known as the Little Ice Age.
We know from historic records, and these are very early observations of the sun, that there were very few of these sunspots for a very long period, from about 1650 until 1715. And this particular period of low solar activity also correlates with a period where the climate, at least in most of Europe and in other places of the world, was very cold.
So what they noticed is, primarily in Europe, where they were taking a lot of these measurements, what they found is that the temperatures were really cold.
It was also very cold in North America. Colonial art often shows deep snows and ice-filled rivers during the winters. Zwerig says the bottom line is if the sunspot activity continues to drop off, we're going to experience cooler weather for a while. Mark Martin, CBN News.
I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, during the last 50 years, we've probably had one of the most benign weather situations you can imagine. And crops have gone into surplus. We have surpluses of rice, surpluses of wheat, surpluses of corn, and soybeans. But if this happens, there can be a lot of freezing. The North American climate where we live will not be as benign. Crops will not be able to grow like they have been. That means you're talking about famine, you're talking about a lot of people being hurt. But all this business about global warming is going out the door right now, because it's not fossil fuels that's causing the problem, it's the sun, that great big ball that controls our solar system. And if we have a 200-year low of sunspot activity, that means a lot of freezing, a lot of ice, and we'll be so grateful that there's some coal or oil or natural gas available to heat our dwellings. So keep in mind, but the Lord spoke about the time before he comes back, there'll be famine.